from beautiful Brisbane. I'm Linda and I'm your heart and soul centered counsellor. Today we're going to look into people pleasing, codependency and people pleasing, because it's a really major factor that you can see in your day-to-day life, and it's actually very easy to see. If I was to say to you that you need to learn to say no, what would be your first response? And that's what we're going to look at today. If you're here for the replay, thank you very much and welcome. Remember to use the hashtag replay, and I look forward to catching up with you in the conversation below. People pleasing was something that I had never heard of, and let's face it, about 30 years ago there wasn't a lot around about self-development, self-help. Personal awareness is probably a better way to put it, becoming aware of who I am. And so when I first came across the concept of saying no, I absolutely flipped out. I was like, wow, I'd never even thought of that concept. So if you come across and somebody says to you, you need to learn to say no, what's your first response within you? You know, as your imagination begins to work and you think about, right, am I going to be able to say no in this situation or not? What's the first emotion that comes up within you? Is it anxiety? Is it dread? Like, oh my goodness. I know for me, one of the first things that came up was, oh, if I say no, then they're really going to notice me. People would notice me. And I found that really challenging, actually. And I had to do a lot more work around it before I was able to understand the concept of saying no. And it's not a, well, no, and, you know, you're cranky and I'm not doing that for you anymore. It's a simple, well, no, I can't be there anymore for that. I have to go and do this. So you're coming from your heart and soul. You're not coming from your mind. And I think we have to be aware of that on the internet, is that people can take a concept, make it logical, and don't absorb it into their heart and soul and understand that that's where we need to be coming from. So a couple of the other things that can happen is, on the codependent side of things, is you find that you can't say no to anybody, and you literally don't have the voice to say no to anybody either. It's very, very challenging. And you'll often find that you go out of your way to sacrifice all of your needs and just keep helping people. And that's what people pleasing does, is that we keep sacrificing every part of ourselves in order that other people are happy. And to be honest, right back in the beginning, I didn't even have a concept of that I could be happy. And that might sound odd to some people, but I didn't. I mean, I had a real sense inside of myself that there had to be more than this, but I didn't have a concept in place that I too could be happy in life. I was just busy going around making everybody, what I thought was making everybody else happy. So what are we going to do? Well, first of all, we talked yesterday about the how-to of how to recognise your needs, your wants, and it just went straight out of my head. Anyhow, check out yesterday's video so that you can get a hold of what you need, being able to recognise what you need, being able to recognise what you want, and go from there. That'll put the first steps in place. Now, when it comes to saying no, it's a bit more challenging because we do have to come to an awareness of boundaries and a number of other things. But I don't want you to worry about that yet. I don't want you to worry about having to say no just yet. I want you to be an observer in your life of when you are not saying no. So we use the opposite in order that we develop an awareness of our own behaviour of when we're not saying no, but we really need to say no. And as mums, we can be so guilty of doing this. Guilt's become like a bad word lately, but we've got to own it. We've got to admit when we feel guilty in order that we can, change things up. But as a mum, we think if we've come from trauma and if we've come from dysfunctional, unhealthy, toxic families, then we turn things around and we go, right, I'm going to let my kids know they're loved. I want them to know that I'm there for them, and so much more. There's a lot that goes into being a mum. And where we can come unstuck is not saying no to them, especially when they're younger, because then it just makes it harder when they're teenagers and they do need us to be stronger for them. So in order for you to begin to learn how to say no in your life, you're going to look into your day-to-day life and see where you do need to say no, okay? I know that you can do this. I know that you've got the courage to begin to raise your level of awareness of where you do need to say no, even if it is to your kids. They might have a temper tantrum and throw themselves on the floor, but just walk away, cool off, they'll get over it. You can teach them that they need to how to manage their emotions. And if you need to learn how to manage your emotions, we can do that too. But first of all, the most important part, especially if you've come through trauma, is to become aware. So develop an awareness of where you need to say no, but you're not actually saying no. Okay? I hope that helps. Now, as you go through the rest of your week, just remember, you're an observer in your life, and you're going to look at what's happening around you, and you're going to say, did I need to say no there, or didn't I? You know, what did the feeling come in? Did the person not even acknowledge that you have feelings around the situation, totally ignore you, and left you feeling like you had to do what they wanted no matter what? Okay, that's a really big indicator that we need to work around the situation of you being able to build yourself up in order that you will be able to say no from your heart and soul, not from the logical part. All right, if you have any questions or comments, please feel welcome to leave them down below. If you watch on YouTube, remember to hit subscribe so you get a notification when the video is up. And I love you all. Bless you. I hope you're having an amazing week. If you're in America, happy July the 4th. It's a big day over there and a big celebration, which is just wonderful. I'm Linda, your heart and soul centered counsellor, and I will be with you same time, same back channel tomorrow. Blessings and dreams. Bye.